How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good to meet you. My name's Brad. I'm with Designed by Sundown.
Okay.
What was your name?
I'm Celeste.
Celeste. Perfect. Well, I'm super excited to be meeting with you today. We're going to kind of be discussing your landscaping, the turf areas, all the plantings in the beds, different things like that. Some things you guys might want to improve, what's looking good, what's going well, things like that.
Okay.
Just before we kind of get into all that, how long have you guys lived here?
About 5 years.
5 years?
Mhm.
Okay. So you guys are kind of recent into the area.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't dove in super deep into your landscaping yet. How much
Yeah.
have you guys gotten into it? Have you put a lot of money into it yet, or is this where you guys are kind of starting off?
Not necessarily. It's actually pretty moving ready. Like everything is kind of nice. So, I mean, I'm actually pretty good with our landscape right now. We don't have any plans in the near future to improve it at all.
Okay, so everything was pretty much established when you guys got here. It looked pretty good. You guys
Yeah.
aren't looking to spend a ton of money on it. You just
No,
kind of
yeah.
want to maintain it, make sure it's looking really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So with the property, are there any areas in particular that are struggling, maybe that are dry or a little too wet, anything like that you guys have been seeing?
No, just because we make sure we water it pretty well. So everything's like looking green, everything's looking nice. It's just kind of it sucks like how much we have to pay for the water bill, but I mean, what else are you gonna
Okay, for sure, yeah. Especially here in Colorado, the
do?
prices
Yeah.
are super, super high. So I definitely understand how the bill can be pretty heavy.
Right.
Um, what kind of sprinklers do you guys have? Do you know?
Mm-mm.
Okay, perfect. So there's a couple of different kinds. There's
Okay.
ones that just kind of fan out and they put out a
Mhm.
lot of water.
Mhm.
Those are just called your typical spray heads. And then there's other ones that are rotors that kind of have a single stream,
Mhm.
but they just kind of shoot across. And those usually run a lot further in length. Do you know which one you guys have
Yeah, we
between the
have
two?
just like the family.
The fan ones?
Mhm.
Perfect. So, especially with your concern about the water, what those fans do is when they come up, they're going to put out a lot of water. Those nozzles on them have a pretty big opening, and what's called the precipitation rate, which is basically calculating how much water it's putting out over a specific area,
Mhm.
those have the highest. So that means they're going to be pushing out a lot of water. You don't have to irrigate as long. You can put out a lot of water in 5 or 10 minutes, and it's going to get enough. But what ends up happening with those is because it has such a high precipitation rate, it's actually going to waste a lot of water where it's going to overspray into certain areas. You guys probably notice the driveway gets pretty wet.
Yeah.
It runs off. It doesn't have a lot of time to infiltrate into the ground. So there's a lot of complications that kind of come in with those. They work okay for certain situations.
Okay.
But I think what we can do for you, it's not going to cost a lot of money.
Okay.
They have these nozzles out in the industry. They're called NP rotators.
Oh, what's that?
So basically, it's a hybrid between the sprays and the rotors. So
Okay.
you might have seen them out there in a couple of people's lawns. They basically look like fingers,
Okay.
and they wave up and down. Instead of having a single stream, they have about 5 or 6, and they put it out at different angles.
Huh, okay.
So compared to the sprays and the rotors, they have the lowest precipitation rate, which means they're not going to put out water as fast, and it's going to be more efficient in the way it's delivered into the planting material.
Okay.
So what we can do, especially with your yard, in the areas that you have sprays, we can actually swap those out for NP rotators. And what it's going to do is deliver water over a longer period of time. So instead of watering for about 5 minutes, we would probably run it at about 25 minutes. But because they're more efficient, the water is going to soak into the ground instead of running off onto the driveway, into the street, and you guys are going to be wasting that water.
Oh, okay.
So basically, what's going to end up happening is you're going to run the system a little bit longer, but it's going to save you guys water because you're not putting out as much and you're not wasting as much.
Okay.
So it might seem contradictory to say, hey, we're going to run it a little bit longer. You think your bill is going to go up? It's actually going to do the opposite for you guys.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be more efficient. It's going to get better coverage for you guys, and it's going to be a lot healthier for your landscape too.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
What is like the price looking at?
So for each of the nozzles, they typically run about $10 per nozzle.
Oh, okay.
And do you know how many zones you guys have throughout the property?
I don't.
Okay, cool. I'm guessing, kind of based on the size of you guys' property, that you would have about 10 zones, and on each
Okay.
zone there's usually between 5 and 6 heads.
Okay.
So basically what you're looking at for us to come in and rework everything with the MP rotators, it's going to cost about $500
Okay.
in parts, and then labor. I bet you we could get that done in probably an hour,
Oh. Okay.
which would be another $100.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we're looking at for you guys is about $600 for us to come in, rework your entire system with MP rotators, switching out all the spray nozzles so that you guys are going to get more efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
That $600 that you guys are going to spend right now, most of the people around the neighborhood that have switched with us, they were spending about $600 a month in their water bill.
Mm-hmm.
We've cut it by about 30 or 40%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the money that you're saving now, or that you're
Mhm.
spending now, you're going to be able to save within the next 4 months, and then
Right.
throughout the rest of the year, there's just going to be a couple $100 in savings left over for you guys.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. And I like that idea more, that like all that extra water isn't running down the driveway
Yeah.
into the street. And,
Yeah, so that's something that we're super focused on too, is just the sustainability aspect of
Mhm.
making sure the environment's taken care of, that we're managing our resources super well.
Right.
I know, especially in the Colorado atmosphere,
Mhm.
that's something super important, especially for the homeowners.
Mhm.
So we'll go in, we'll rework everything for you guys, make sure you're not wasting as much water. Your plant material is actually a lot healthier.
Okay.
And yeah, we can probably come out this week for you guys. Is there a day that would be best for you?
Yeah. Do you have like Thursday
Yeah.
afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can definitely do that. Since it'll only take an hour, we could probably come out at 3 o'clock and get you guys taken care of if
Yeah.
that works.
That would be perfect, actually.
Okay, cool. So we'll plan on being here on Thursday at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll take care of all the zones for you. And then if we have any questions or anything like that, go ahead and let us know. We'll be able to take care of that. Another piece of it is that we'll rework the clock for you guys, making sure everything's adjusted so you
Oh,
won't have to
okay.
worry about that.
Cool. Yeah.
And we'll get everything switched over from the shorter run times to the longer ones.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that'd be great.
and I'm guessing you guys are probably watering for a couple hours in the morning.
Yeah.
With the size of the property.
Mhm.
We're probably going to need to start it at about midnight, and then it's going to run till about 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
So that way it's not going to affect your guys' showering schedule, laundry, or anything
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. It'll just run in the middle of the night,
Sure.
and then
Yeah.
during the day you guys can use the water, and it'll have enough pressure and
Okay.
everything. Does that
Yeah,
sound good?
that'd be great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, let us know, but we'll be back on Thursday to get you taken care of, okay?
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Brad.